Right, here's a video for a couple of first aid pouches which I've been using for over a year now. So I'm glad to report that this is going to be a review, not an overview, because I have used them. They've been outdoors with me. They've been in my kit for around about a year. So they're pretty cool actually, and for the price, I think you're going to find it hard to beat considering the qualities of the material used. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go through one at a time. Let's start with the bad boy first. The FatMax 5x8. Obviously, I've put my own patches on there. It's all Velcro. You can attach that obviously in so many ways. Medi compatible being the main attachment option. You've got a little tiny little pouch in there with a Velcro closure behind the name tag, so you can put stuff inside there. Now, one of the best things I like about this is the ease of access. Now, if you can see, you've got a little pull tab there which you hold, and you've got a big grab strap there. So for a quick deployment, all you do is you open it in one swift, easy motion. Now, before we go any further, I have only got basic medical training. I've done it a long time before, as most of us did, back in the infantry reserve unit that I was based at. We've all done first aid. I've done first aid at work, and I'm a qualified first aider, and I'm about to go on my refresher course in a couple of months. So I've got basic first aid knowledge. Now, some of the items in this pack are for people with a more advanced understanding of the kit's uses. So my intentions are, in time, I'm hoping if I can get some time this year, is to get some private training, which I'm going to have to pay for, into the uses of some, if not all, of the more advanced pieces of equipment in this pouch. Failing that, you're more than welcome to put anything you see in this video in your own pack. If you're not trained to use it, it's not ideal, but if someone is going to be opening it and using it on you or someone else, and they're trained in it, they're going to be glad to see items like that in the kit. So it's always worth putting in there, but try and bear in mind, find time to train how to use them. Okay? I'm not sure whether it's worth going through every single item. We could be here for a long video. So we're just going to go through some basics. In there we got some airway management, we got some zinc tape, we got a spare pair of gloves, we got some isopropyl alcohol, sterilising pads, we got sealed gloves. Obviously you don't want blood contamination, you want to keep everything sterile if you can, yeah? So that's all sealed and ready to go. Incidentally, what I've done on these, to make it easy, if you see on the ends where the pack is actually sealed, I've actually put a bit of marker tape there so you can distinguish where the end is. And all I've done is I've bent it back and folded a crease there. So in time it actually stays open, it doesn't seal up. It just makes it that little tiny bit easy to hold that and to grab that and pull it, okay? Anything you can do to save time, every second counts. So just think about scenarios, going through everything from start to finish. What you're going to do first thing is get your gloves on. So you want to get them on quick. So rather than fanning around and it's all stuck together, just do little things like that to help speed up time. So the first thing on the top of every first aid kit should be your gloves, because that's the first things you should actually put on before you do anything else. So that's the gloves sorted out. Now, as I mentioned, I'm not going to keep going over it every time I show you something, but I will be trained in this in the near future. It's the Russell chest seal. Now this has replaced the Asherman chest seal, which has seen better days, to be honest. It will still work, it will still do the job, but this, you want to research and check out the information on these to see just how good they are. They're getting raving review, guys, so it's worth bearing in mind and get them in your trauma pack. First little pack. Now this is basically all antiseptic stuff, sterilisation, cleaning items, We got some pads in there, some steri strips. It's all in one sealed bag, okay? You've got a large pack of burn shield to cool down any burns. Get all these in different various sizes as well. For a trauma pack, obviously you're going for big stuff, so I've got quite a large pouch of that stuff there. And basically, it's like an eye wash, okay? Now, all you're going to be doing is squirting that into big, nasty wounds which you suspect have already been infected with metal, glass, wood, debris, dirt, germs, etc. You just break the top off nice and easy, squeeze it as hard as you can, and then just spray into the jet at the end to get all the wound clean. Okay. Trauma shears, everyone should have trauma shears. Just go through items of clothing like butter. It will save so much time. Time saving is the most important thing when you're talking trauma. You really need to get your act together and to get things fixed. Now we've got quite a big selection of stereo strips there. I believe these to be a lot quicker and easy to seal up large-ish wounds rather than using a needle and thread and staples, etc. These are very quick and easy. As you can see, they're all individually sealed in the packaging there to keep them all sterile. Now in the top section here, Israeli bandage. Everyone should have one of these. It's a 6-inch hemorrhage pad basically. You can see plenty of videos. I'm not going to do videos on this because there's some excellent ones out there already. And it's just called the Israeli bandage. First field dressing, call it what you will, it's the same thing. But these are an amazing piece of kit and equipment. All I've done is I've folded it down as small as I can. I've kept the outer packaging off. Some people choose to remove these and just keep the clear package. But from advice that I've been given by a few medics, it's a good idea to keep these on because it keeps it more sterile, okay? So you really want to make sure that everything's nice and clean before you start patching people up. Couple of triangular bandages, the age old never fails. Always have a couple of those. If someone breaks their arm, you can sling them up quite easy. Cat tourniquet. Fantastic piece of kit. Now what I've chose to do with mine is to get a Sharpie pen and to actually put it with it, because when you actually apply this to your casualty, you're going to be writing down information on there, so it's good to have a pen at hand. Now I've actually unfolded this and this is actually ready to go at its largest setting. So if someone does a femoral artery on their leg, you can get it straight over, nice and quick and simple, because it's already open and pre-prepared ready. Okay, it really does matter how you fold and store these. If you want to use it quickly, look into how you pack it. Okay, so that's ready. Moving inside the smaller pouches, it's like a quick clot, a clotting sponge by the same company. Now this is all designed to seal up wounds pretty quick. Okay. So there's 2 of them in there. Okay, they're not the biggest ones, but at the end of the day, you do have to be mindful of what you put in these. You know, you can only put so much in there. You can have bigger pouches, etc. But as I say, you do have to think of, this is going in my bug out bag, so I can't have anything too big. This is as big as I want to get it. And we've got some 10 by 11 wound dressing packs. These are from the NHS. They're all sealed, ready to go with good expiry dates in there, and they're pretty good at soaking up some blood. Obviously if it gets too serious, use your Israeli bandage, but for a smaller cut, they're perfect. And obviously if someone's hemorrhaging quite bad, we've got the larger quick clot there, and that is just going to go straight into the wound, seal it all up, and just press the bandage down, tape them up, and get someone to proper attention. But that will definitely help to stem in the blood flow pretty quick. These are the highest I can find alcohol wise. They're 70% pure alcohol, so obviously a dual purpose. If you needed to, you could set fire to these to start a fire. But yeah, for general cleaning around areas which you suspect have been contaminated, you want as much alcohol as you can get. Now I've chose to put in there 100 milligrams of tramadol, a nice strong painkiller for most people. So if someone is in severe pain and they really are freaking out, drop one of these down, and it's only going to take about 10-15 minutes and they're going to start feeling very nice indeed. and it's going to calm them down, calm you down, so you can treat the casualty, get things planned and prepared, but keep an eye on them. As I say, I'm not totally trained in all of this sort of stuff, but I think it's important to have some form of pain management in your first aid kit. And again, another little alcohol wipe there. And that is it. As I said, you do have the little pouch in the front there, if I can get in there. And all I've squeezed into there, I just about got it in there because it's quite hard to get out, is an emergency blanket. So I think it's worth bearing in mind considering the size of it, and that pouch there was just begging for it, you know, so it's in there. Keep the casualty warm, stop them going into shock and getting cold. That could help in so many ways. So that pretty much is the first aid kit opened up. That's the trauma pack. Okay, and this is his little brother here. Obviously this one isn't for serious stuff. That was the first one I showed you. This is for you know, just basic stuff, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you exactly the same principle as before. You've got the pull tab there which you hold, and you've got the grab strap there for quick release. Very, very quick, simple and clean, no problems at all. Now what I do advise, if you are going to be using gloves, when you put them in there, be very, very careful how they're actually packed. If you leave them open and too loose, there's a very large danger. As you can see, that one there, it's very close to the zip. So if you opened it quick, it could get jammed in there, it could tear it, rendering the gloves useless, okay? So be very, very careful how you pack the gloves in there. All right. As I said, this is just basic stuff really. We don't want to be going into trauma stuff, we just covered that. We've got some small burn gels here. Okay, so little Johnny burns his finger. You're going to use that rather than a great big pack we showed earlier. I always put some salt in there. Rehydration, dehydration, you need to consider it, okay? It's worth having it to hand rather than going through other bags and whatnot. We've got some more steri strips here, just a few of them. Now we've got some plasters, or band-aids I think they are known as in America. What these are very, very strong waterproof plasters. They're not your budget options, okay? And these really do stick very, very well. And even having a shower or walking out in the rain, they don't even start to come off, they really do stick. So having those in your kit and equipment, you don't need to go mad, but there's a few in there, okay? Dehydration and rehydration, as I said earlier, you covered both there. Sweet and sour, pretty much. And as anyone who ventures into the outdoors should have in their kit, and I can't stress this enough, people, need to get some tick tweezers, okay, for smaller ticks and larger ticks. We actually got given these from our vet, and we found out you can buy them online for very affordable prices. They're cheap as anything, and they actually do work. They really do. I've had one on my leg, and you just follow the instructions and you just turn it as you're pulling it slowly, and you get the whole thing out, because if you get some tick left in you, you could be in for serious problems, and I'm not exaggerating. There's some girl on the local news recently, she's been in a wheelchair for years, all because of one tick bite. Now, you know, really do pay attention about ticks. Some more saline solution, or eye wash, same sort of thing. Break it off, squirt it into a wound. More plasters because there is just room for them. Okay. I think, yeah, there's some more in there. All we have there is a sterile finger dressing. Now, I do like to keep things sterile and in their packaging. Okay. It just makes it a lot more straightforward when you're dealing with someone, rather than having something that's been open and contaminated, exposed to germs, etc. Now, all we've done in here, you've got a huge pouch, okay, and another pouch behind there. So the pouch behind, again, we've just got some big wound dressing plasters there. Now, we didn't go for the big ones, obviously, that was already covered in the trauma pack, but these are just a little bit larger than the smaller plasters that we had. Now, into the main pouch. As I say, this is mainly for a low level first aid, okay? Just lots of pain management, diarrhea, or if you're constipated, that will help you go. More diarrhea stuff, because you know, you won't believe if you eat or drink something dodgy when you're outside, and you could be having the squits for a few days. It could be very, very dodgy. So to have a couple of these and to keep on the move, that could be very, very important indeed. Some Zapane pain relief tablets, water purification tablets, just in case. Sometimes you might not have all of the stuff, your kit with you, so if you've got that with you and you need to sterilise some water, you're good to go. They're just allergy relief tablets. Some paracetamol, because you know, some people might be allergic to certain drugs. Paracetamol seems to be okay, but it's always worth talking to your patient to find out as much as you can before you offer any pain relief, okay? Again, you got some more dodgy diarrhea tablets and some aspirin as well. Now, not many people know this, but if you are suffering a heart attack by yourself, my advice is to cough as hard as you can and to try and get an aspirin down you as well. Now, I always carry aspirins in my wallet, which is in my pocket everywhere I go, no matter what. And I'm always mindful of that, you know. Or if you come across someone who you are suspecting of having a heart attack, if you can just try and make them to cough really, really hard to try and stimulate the heart more, and to administer some aspirin to thin the blood, they could stand a better chance, you know, if they didn't do those two actions. So always carry some aspirin in your kit. So that is pretty much the contents of what I'm carrying in my 2 packs. I was advised by a good friend of mine who is very, very experienced in the paramedic industry, and he just said, you know, rather than having all of your stuff in 1 pack, split them into 3, which is what he said. I've decided to split into 2. Not so serious, pretty much serious, okay? If I was to carry 3, I think that's probably going a bit too far considering everything else that I'm carrying in my bug out bag. So there you have it. These are cool. I've never had a problem with them so far. They've always opened and shut first time. There's no rips. As I say, I've been carrying them. They've been rolling around in the truck and in the bug out bag for around about a year. And yeah, they seriously up to the task. Yeah, they're great. Yes, they haven't been on a battlefield with rain and blood and dragging through corridors and God knows what. But from a day-to-day use, it goes on and off the vehicle and it gets moved around, and I use it in one of my camps. So it is being used and it's standing up to the task. So the Vanquest, the tough built gear, as it says there, it looks like it really is, you know, built for tough use gear. And to be made of Cordura as well. Now that is something that our friends at Max Position do not do. Can you see the genuine Cordura tag there? Just Google search and research into genuine Cordura and you'll see what it's all about. So yeah, I'm glad I got these pouches now because it really does serve a purpose. And as I mentioned in my overnighter video I've done recently, this main trauma pouch fits absolutely 100% perfect into the front utility pouch of the PLCE Bergen. Whether it be camouflage or olive green, it's a perfect fit. And to have that handle right at the top where you can just drag it straight out, quick, fast, in a hurry, can only be a good thing. So there you have it, guys. That's my first aid kit, which I'm currently carrying. Any comments, just stick them down below. As I said, I'm not trained in some of the things in here, but I'm trained in other things. So I will be going on courses to get familiarised myself with the cat tourniquet and the chest seal especially. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. I hope that's helped. Stay funky.